Welcome to Chrisma Diary. This is a more intimate look on my own life as I am changing from a culture-driven woman and being a godly woman. A little bit after I left my job back in 2017 in November, a couple of months ago, God had really been speaking to me and gave me this plan of, seeking Him, spending time with Him, allowing Him to work on areas of my heart, work on areas of, my character, work on areas, of my mind that He really would have access to now that He, had time to me. I'm not working a 9 to 5, and I had more free time to really be able to allow Him to just do what He wanted to do. And I even call it now like just pouring out His love. And so I got a taste of freedom, and different things were happening in my life. And it's like, when you get a taste of freedom, it's like, oh, I wanted to do that and I couldn't. Now I can do this. And so I was finding that I was just really consumed with different things that I thought were good, that I thought was, what I was supposed to be doing in that moment, but not fully realizing that I wasn't being obedient to the plan. And so, for a minute, like, things are going my way, things are going good, like I'm just happy and joyful, because it was different things that were manifesting that I was like, oh my God, this is what I want, this is what I've been waiting for, oh my gosh. And as time went on, I would say more so towards the end of the year, it was like I began to feel like this check, and also like a void. And it was like a small void, but I began to feel like this check, like, okay, something's not right. So what began to happen was, like, I began to fall back into myself, fall back into doing what I wanted to do, seeing things how I wanted to see it, like imagining and creating this life that I wanted. And I wasn't submitting certain things of my life, of my thoughts, of my desires to God in prayer, and really asking Him, do I have your permission to pursue this? Do I have your permission to, go after this? Is this what you want for me? But instead allowing my heart, my wants, my longings, and my affections to lead me versus allowing God and His Word to lead me. Towards the end of the year, I began to realize that things were falling apart in what I was planning, what I was placing my hope in, what I was longing for, and what I felt I was ready for. And I began to have these anxiety attacks, these mental attacks. And I remember, like, it was the last week of December of 2017, it was like every day I was waking up and like just the spirit of anxiety, the spirit of fear, the spirit of paranoia just would be throughout me, so heavy throughout the day, where it was like, y'all, like I was in tears every day. And it was like, when you're crying and it's like you're crying so much that your nose gets stopped up, and then you try to blow your nose and nothing comes out, and then it's like you're crying more because that hurt, and so then like your tears are turning into like fire tears. Like, that was like every day for me. And God began to show me, He was like, stop having a temper tantrum. And I was like, oh my God. He was like, stop having a temper tantrum. He was like, basically, you're upset because things aren't going your way and you weren't following the plan. Like, I told you that I needed you to be before me, to seek me, to sit at my feet and allow me to work on things. But instead of you falling into me, allowing me to pour out my love on you, you begin to fall into yourself, and you thought you knew how to love yourself. And I was like, oh my God. So I'm like, okay, I need help. So y'all, I was just like, okay. So I began to realize that my thoughts were like attacking me to the point where I could hear God's voice, but because I was so into me that my thoughts about me were making it where I was coming up with all of these excuses, and God was like, your excuses mean nothing to me, because you still made a choice to enjoy yourself, fall into yourself, do these different things that, no, were not bad, but because you placed them before seeking me with laser focus, I had to get your attention. And so I was just like, oh my gosh, but I was still mad. I was just like, but I can do it all. Like, I can juggle it. I can balance it all. And it was like, clearly you can't. And as I began to think about the feelings that I was having during these moments of panic, during these moments of anxiety, during these moments of fear, I began to realize that I need help. Because one of the things that I began to pray over myself was, God, keep me from lying to myself and give me the pleasure of knowing your instruction. And God, I want you to reveal your truth about me to me, like what you see, what is hindering me, because I knew that there was something that was hindering me. So I really felt led to go to therapy, to go to counseling. And I didn't tell anyone initially. I told maybe like a couple of people, my two best friends, like I shared it with them that, I was going to counseling and that I needed to really get a hold of my thoughts. So coming into the new year, January the 2nd, I went to my first therapy session. So I'm pouring my heart out to the counselor. We're talking about childhood. We're talking about relationships, all of my romantic relationships, my sibling relationships, my friendships. And as I'm sharing with him, like just what led me to come, he was like basically saying back to me, he was like, it sounds like you've lost focus on love. He was like, you're trying to create this love based on what you've experienced, based on what you don't like about what you've seen people call love. And you want to get this perfect love. And he was like, you've lost focus on what love is. And as he's saying that, like God is speaking to me as well. And it's like, yes, I wanted you to sit before me so I could pour out my love on you, so I could show you and perfect in you the areas that weren't also good, that you weren't experiencing the love that you wanted. But you decided to allow yourself to love on you. And in that, it distorted what I was trying to do through you. So it was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, I got it. Okay, I'm so sorry. And then I began to realize, like, I have lost sight of God's love for me. Like, I have lost sight of that, and I need to regain focus on the love of God. And so I began to really, I came home and I began to write out everything that I knew the love of God was to me, that I experienced just going back from childhood up until that point. And I wrote it out on this big Post-it of God's love for me. And then I wrote out how he was calling my mind to be and what he wanted my mind to be, that it was stable, that it was a mind of Christ, that it was godly, because I dwell in the love of God, because God is love. So he began to take me to 1 John 4, and I began to read that, and I began to write out a love prayer, love affirmations that were refocusing my heart and my mind in the love of God. And one of the biggest things that I did to really lift me out of the spirit of anxiety, the spirit of fear, I began to allow praise and worship to lift me, because I realized that I began to lose me because I lost sight of God's love for me. I lost sight of laser focus of wanting to please God and falling into myself. I felt like I was loving myself, but I wasn't loving myself the way that God could. And so it was causing there to be a void. It was causing there to be this fear and this paranoia and this anxiety, because I don't know how to love myself right. And I'm trying to love myself and then learn how to love someone else. And it just wasn't what I could do in that moment because I had lost sight of God's love. I just love love. I'm consumed with love. And I realized that the love that I thought I loved, the love that I wanted to be consumed with, was a love that I was trying to create. And so what I've been doing is allowing God's love to consume me, allowing God's love to be poured out on me, allowing God's love to be the center of my focus so that I can refocus love, that I am being reintroduced to love. And so I want to take you guys along that journey. So I'm going to be talking about me being reintroduced to love, being reintroduced to God's love, but the intimate love that God specifically has for me. And I want to share that with you and just show you how it's healing my heart, how it's melting my heart. And I want it to do the same for you. And one thing I know is the income of God's word is the outcome of a changed life. And changing is going to look so good on us. So I don't know about you, but I'm about to drown in this love of God. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.